Imagine walking into a Ferrari dealership with $10 million sitting in your bank account. You already know exactly which Ferrari you want. Money isn't the problem. You could pay for it today. Cash. No financing, no negotiations. You simply point at the car and say, "I'll take it." The salesperson smiles, looks you in the eyes, and replies with a single word.
No.
Not because someone else bought it. Not because you can't afford it, but because Ferrari doesn't believe you're the right owner. At first, that sounds insane. Why would a company refuse millions of dollars from a customer who's ready to buy? After all, isn't that the dream of every business? Not Ferrari. Because Ferrari isn't trying to sell as many cars as possible, it's trying to protect something far more valuable: desire. And that's exactly what makes Ferrari different from almost every other luxury brand on earth. Most companies increase production when demand grows. Ferrari deliberately doesn't. Every year, demand for Ferrari cars is far greater than the number of cars the company chooses to build. Not because Ferrari lacks the factories, not because it lacks the engineers, because scarcity is part of the product. Ferrari has spent decades creating a simple psychological effect. If everyone can have it, nobody dreams about it. But if almost nobody can, everyone wants it. And nowhere is that strategy more powerful than with Ferrari's rarest cars. Here's something most people don't know. If you want a regular production Ferrari and your local dealer has an available allocation, you can absolutely become a first-time Ferrari owner. Ferrari isn't stopping new customers from entering the brand. The real game begins when you want one of the cars almost nobody can buy. Cars like the LaFerrari Aperta, the Monza SP1, the Daytona SP3, or future limited editions produced in tiny numbers. Suddenly, your bank account becomes much less important than your history. How many Ferraris have you owned? How long did you keep them? Did you immediately sell them for profit? Do you regularly attend Ferrari events? Do you maintain a relationship with your dealer? Have you actually supported the brand? Or are you only chasing the next investment? That's because Ferrari isn't simply choosing buyers. Ferrari is choosing long-term representatives of the brand, people who represent everything the company wants its name to stand for. Former Ferrari executive Enrico Galliera once admitted that one of the hardest parts of his job was saying no. Not because Ferrari couldn't sell more cars, but because too many people wanted the exact same ones. And every yes automatically required dozens of no's. But here's where the story becomes even more fascinating. Ferrari doesn't just create exclusivity, it creates loyalty. Some collectors spend decades building a relationship with the company before they're even considered for certain models. And even then, there's no guarantee they'll get one. Imagine spending millions of dollars over 20 years, owning multiple Ferraris, attending private events, supporting the brand every step of the way, and still opening your phone one day, only to discover someone else received the invitation instead. Because in Ferrari's world, money gets your attention, but loyalty earns your place. And that raises a much bigger question. Who actually decides who deserves a Ferrari, and who gets left behind? The answer isn't hidden inside Ferrari's headquarters. It's hidden inside something most people have never even heard of. Allocation. Every Ferrari dealership receives a limited number of production slots. Think of them as golden tickets. For normal production models, there may be enough allocations for new customers, but when Ferrari announces a limited edition car, everything changes. Sometimes only a few hundred examples will ever exist. And suddenly, every billionaire, every celebrity, every collector wants the exact same car. Ferrari could easily auction every single one for even more money, but that's exactly what they refuse to do. Because Ferrari believes the wrong owner can damage the brand more than an unsold car. Dealers submit their preferred clients, while Ferrari ultimately approves allocations for many of the rarest models, not based on who offers the most money, but on who has earned the opportunity. Did this customer actually drive their Ferraris, or simply lock them away as investments? Did they keep their previous cars, or flip them for a quick profit? Have they supported the dealership for years, or did they suddenly appear the moment a rare model was announced? Every answer matters. While Ferrari has never published a universal checklist, years of industry experience point to the same pattern. Loyalty seems to matter more than wealth. Consistency often matters more than fame. Passion usually matters more than speculation. That's why you'll often hear people talking about Ferrari's so-called Blacklist. The reality is more complicated. Ferrari has never released an official public blacklist, but the company has taken action against customers who used its cars, or even its trademarks, in ways it believed damaged the brand. Over the years, Ferrari has also become far more selective about who receives future invitations for its rarest models. The message is simple. If Ferrari believes you're buying its cars only to make money, don't expect another phone call. Ferrari strongly discourages one thing: flippers. Imagine Ferrari spends years designing an extraordinary limited edition car. They carefully select its future owners. Production is incredibly limited. Then, just weeks after delivery, the car appears at auction with a multi-million-dollar markup. To most companies, that would be free publicity. To Ferrari, it's the opposite, because the car was never supposed to become a lottery ticket. It was supposed to become part of Ferrari's history. That's why many collectors who receive these exclusive invitations quietly keep their cars for years. Not because they have to. Ferrari and its dealer network pay close attention. Every decision sends a signal. Sell too quickly, and your chances of receiving another invitation may disappear. Protect the car, drive it, represent the brand well. And suddenly, doors that remain closed to almost everyone else begin to open. This creates something incredibly powerful. Ferrari customers don't just compete to own the cars. They compete to stay inside Ferrari's inner circle, and that's exactly where Ferrari's strategy becomes brilliant, because once people stop chasing the product and start chasing the invitation, the company is no longer selling automobiles. It's selling status. It's selling belonging. It's selling access, and access is far more valuable than horsepower. But Ferrari's strategy doesn't stop there. In fact, there's another reason why the company intentionally says no. A reason that has almost nothing to do with the cars themselves, and everything to do with making Ferrari one of the most profitable car companies on the planet. At first glance, Ferrari's strategy makes no sense. If demand is already higher than supply, why not simply build more cars? Wouldn't that make shareholders happier? Wouldn't that generate billions of dollars in additional revenue? Short term, probably. Long term, it could destroy everything Ferrari has spent nearly 80 years building. Because the moment Ferrari becomes easy to buy, it stops feeling special. Exclusivity isn't a side effect of Ferrari's business. It is the business. Every no protects every Ferrari already on the road. Every waiting list increases anticipation. Every limited production run strengthens the belief that owning a Ferrari is something very few people will ever experience. And that's exactly why many Ferrari owners aren't simply buying transportation. They're buying emotion. They're buying a childhood dream. They're buying a symbol that tells the world they belong to one of the most exclusive clubs on Earth. Ferrari understands something that most companies never do. People rarely desire what is available. They desire what feels impossible. That's why Ferrari has consistently resisted the temptation to flood the market, even as demand continues to grow. It's also why the company has become one of the most profitable automakers in the world, not by producing the most cars, but by protecting the value of every single one it builds. In many ways, Ferrari behaves less like a car manufacturer and more like a luxury watchmaker or an elite fashion house. It doesn't compete on volume, it competes on reputation, on heritage, on craftsmanship, and above all, on exclusivity. Ironically, every customer Ferrari turns away makes the brand even stronger, because every rejection sends the same message to the world. This is something not everyone can have. And that message is priceless. The fascinating part is that Ferrari isn't really selling horsepower. There are cars that accelerate faster. There are cars with more advanced technology. There are even cars that cost more. Yet few brands create the same emotional reaction. Because Ferrari doesn't sell the best specifications, it sells the feeling of becoming part of a legacy that began in 1947. A legacy built on racing, passion, scarcity, and patience. So, does Ferrari refuse to sell you a car? Sometimes. But the real question isn't whether you have enough money. It's whether Ferrari believes you're the kind of person they want representing their name. Because in Ferrari's world, the rarest thing isn't the car, it's the invitation. And perhaps that's the greatest luxury of all. We've decoded the system. This is Luxury Decoded. Subscribe for more hidden systems behind wealth, power, and luxury. What should we decode next? Tell us in the comments.